hands down, flashy. And I thought it was cool. So it kind of made me want to get in a ring with him and see if he could do it.
Shakur Stevenson, when he managed to get a win over Jamel Herring. Again, he'd had significant wins before this fight, but it was the first one where I really tuned in.
Like, he puts pressure on guys without throwing too many punches, and then starts to figure holes out, and the way he can
A little bit shorter. He could even be a bit taller than Teofimo Lopez. I really need to see them next to each other to make that assessment. No lifts in the shoes, all that stuff.
Explode and move in with one shot. My God.
Yeah, he's very explosive.
No giant names. Jamel Herring was the first one where I was like, I know who Jamel Herring is. He beat Carl Frampton. He beat Lamont Roach. This is a very, very decent operator.
The moment Joe Rogan saw Shakur Stevenson standing there, bulked up, shoulders fuller, frame thicker, looking nothing like the slim technician people had memorized, something changed in the conversation around him. This was not just the same slick defensive artist anymore. This was a version that looked ready to absorb force, deliver power, and walk through storms instead of just dancing around them. The surprise wasn't just about muscle. It was about what that muscle represented. It suggested intent. It suggested that Shakur wasn't planning to simply outthink Teofimo Lopez. He was preparing to meet him where danger lives. Rogan talked about Shakur's defense the way people talk about rare art. Philly shell, sharp eyes, movement that seems to read the future before it happens. Shakur doesn't react. He anticipates. He sees the small pause before a man explodes. He reads the shoulders, the hips, the breath. When Teofimo takes that subtle step, loading power like a spring, Shakur is already gone, already sliding back, already setting the counter. That is what makes him frightening. He doesn't win with chaos. He wins with control. Rogan saw in that new physique something even more dangerous. Agility paired with strength. Defense backed by physical authority. A fighter who could stay in the pocket if he wanted, but who now had the body to survive it. There was a time when people called Shakur a runner. He heard it. He didn't like it. He tried to prove them wrong. He stood in the pocket, took shots he didn't need to take, just to show he could fight. And afterward, he realized something important. He didn't owe anyone pain. He didn't need to bleed to be respected. Boxing is about winning, not suffering for entertainment. From that moment on, he committed to boxing smarter, not louder. He would make people miss. He would make them tired. He would make them frustrated. And now, with a stronger body, he could choose when to be defensive and when to be dominant. Behind the scenes, his camp moved with quiet intensity. Every session was about detail, feet, angles, distance, precision. Defense that feels like offense because it steals confidence. Conditioning that doesn't just build lungs, but builds patience. Shakur wasn't just training his body. He was training his mind to stay calm while another man tries to turn the ring into a fire. Then came the breakdowns. Analysts saw two different storms forming. Teofimo Lopez is twitchy, explosive, built on sudden violence. He loads power in a blink, explodes forward like a trap snapping shut. But there is always a moment before it happens. A breath. A shift. A pause so small most people don't see it. Shakur sees it. And when Teofimo explodes, Shakur is already sliding, already changing the picture, already forcing Teofimo to punch air. That is where fights are really won. Not in the punches that land, but in the punches that never do. Footwork became the heart of the conversation. Teofimo needs his feet to plant so he can release power. Shakur needs his feet to float so he can erase power. One wants stillness before chaos. The other wants movement before silence. If Shakur controls the floor, he controls the fight. If Teofimo traps him, everything changes. Fighters started weighing in with their instincts. Some leaned toward Shakur, trusting his eyes, his calm, his chess mind. Others leaned toward Teofimo, believing that speed and violence always find a way through beauty. Bets were made. Arguments followed. Because this wasn't just a fight. It was a question about boxing itself. Does intelligence always beat force? Or does force eventually break intelligence? Critics spoke too. They questioned Shakur's resume. They compared him to others with more violent highlight reels. They said he hadn't faced enough monsters yet. They wondered if his style would become too cautious against someone as dangerous as Teofimo. They feared he might move too much, avoid too much, give away the soul of the fight in exchange for safety. But Shakur heard all of it and kept moving forward. He didn't chase approval. He chased challenge. Shakur spoke about wanting real tests. He doesn't look at dangerous fighters and turn away. He looks at them and wonders what they look like when they face him. He watched Teofimo fight and saw something beautiful and dangerous at the same time. Flash, speed, hands down, confidence. Made him curious. Not afraid. Curious. He wanted to see if that style would still look beautiful when it ran into his. His last fight had forced him into mud. Pressured, crowded, forced to fight where he didn't want to fight. He survived it. He learned from it. And now, facing a boxer instead of a bulldozer, he felt something different. Excitement. Not because it would be easy, but because it would be clean. Chess instead of chaos. Movement instead of suffocation. He wanted to think. He wanted to calculate. He wanted to play the game he believes he plays better than anyone else. But Teofimo is not just speed. He is pride. He is hunger. He is the kind of fighter who grows when the danger grows. Analysts said his ceiling changes based on who stands in front of him. Give him easy fights and he looks ordinary. Give him war and he becomes something else. Against Shakur, many believe the best version of Teofimo will show up. Focused, sharp, dangerous. On paper, they are similar in age, in size, in physical prime. But they come from different paths. Shakur climbed through divisions with skill and patience. Teofimo burst through divisions with violence and belief. One is a surgeon. The other is a storm. When they meet, something has to give. Some believe Teofimo struggles with movers. Fighters who change angles, who refuse to stay still, who make him reset over and over. Frustration is dangerous for him. When he can't land, he starts asking himself questions inside the ring. And questions are deadly in a place where answers must come fast. Shakur is built to create questions. Where did he go? Why did that miss? Why can't I touch him? But others believe that speed can break even the smartest plan. That one moment of explosion can end everything. That if Teofimo times Shakur just once, all the movement in the world won't matter. That is what makes this fight heavy. Not because of belts. Because of risk. Shakur's new physique changes the picture. He is no longer just built to escape. He is built to endure. Built to hold ground if needed. Built to make the middle of the ring his home, not just his highway. It suggests he is preparing not only to avoid danger, but to answer it. This fight is not about who talks.